This is Close Combat, Panthers in the Fog. You're watching Episode 1 of the Axis campaign. Take a moment to support the channel by clicking the subscribe button, liking the video, and turning on notifications. We are beginning this campaign as the Germans. So to start things off, I am taking 1st Panzer Division and moving them northwest. I'm moving those two battle groups out as well. And then I'm taking 2nd Panzer Division and I'm going to move them west-southwest. I think we'll get some armored support down there. And then down here, we're kind of already in the thick of it, so we're just going to sit tight. I contemplated merging the two battle groups, but I opted against it. So we'll execute this and see what it looks like. Also, we had no mortars, air, or artillery support. Looks like that went fine, but we do have an engagement over here, and then everything else is the same as it was before. So I think we're going to be ready for our first fight. I'm not sure where that's going to be, but we can find out. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So St. Barthelemy. We've got 30th Division, and they are defending against our Kampfgruppe Needle, 1st SS Panzer. It is dry weather, midnight, and August 7th, 1944. We had a request for wrestling company near the end of Gateway to Khan. It seemed like a little bit of a waste, so I saved it for this one. So we're going to start off with wrestling company led by Randy Savage, and we've got Steve Austin, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, and Triple H rounding out 1st platoon. We have some Pumas in 2nd platoon, and we've got Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels manning those. And then in support, we have 2 mortar half-tracks with Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. We also have The Rock rounding out with an AT half-track. Now, they've got slightly different compositions since they are American instead of British. And it looks like 1st platoon is half rifle, half BAR. So a section of rifle and a section of BAR per squad. And 2nd platoon, it's still kind of the same configuration. They don't have enough leadership yet, so their company only has 1 rifle and 1 BAR in 2nd platoon. And then they got 2 light mortars and a 57mm AT gun that we'll have to watch out for. There are not a lot of options here, so I kind of just have half the guys on the west, half the guys on the east, and then once we have an idea where we can move to or where it makes sense, maybe I'll readjust. But because we're just sort of stuck in the top center, I'm just trying to use cover of the trees until we spot some enemies or move out and take some flags. I'm very interested in these maps simply because they're so different. There's actual cover, there's concealment, there's more terrain features and buildings, so I think this could be interesting. There are still some longer lines of sight and stuff, but just off what I can see in this first one, I'm very intrigued. I am going to go ahead and move up there, and I think we're going to take John Cena over here on the west and just start leapfrogging to the trees. We'll see how that goes. We might draw some fire, but we're going to at least scout out and see if we can take either of these flags on the east or west and kind of work our way through it. Let's move Ric Flair up just a little bit so we can kind of see out of that opening, and then I want to move Shawn Michaels up to look at Hill 106, but I don't want them to be the first thing the AT gun sees. We're not scouting with our tanks, or in this case, AT cars. So hold them back just for a moment. The half tracks, I kind of don't like them there, but I didn't really want them in the field more towards the front. So, we'll see how that works out for us. I'm going to go ahead and tell Steve Austin to crawl now for the last little bit. I don't want them to be standing tall when the enemy starts shooting at them. But The Rock is going to move over here. Oh, mortars inbound. We are going to move The Rock up to help support the infantry on the far east end. I hear them, but I don't really hear well. So I kind of want to move down here now, even though that's not where I put them. It's not very tall, like maybe half a meter to a meter. So hopefully we can just find a way through there. Oh, contact, Hill 106. We got entrenched infantry on the top. Let's go ahead and flare it. And Steve Austin actually can't see it. There we go. Open up with the rock. There we go. Can't quite see it there yet. We got to wait for Bret Hart to crawl forward a little bit. Now I'm okay to move Shawn Michaels up just a little bit and let them get in on the fight. I just didn't want them to be the first target. I think John Cena is going to hold up for a moment and then let them rest and we'll move up. No way. Roman Reigns is already tracked. So this was a mistake. So that's part of it too, is I don't know anything about these terrain features. So I don't really know what I can drive through or across or over or whatever. So that was clearly a mistake. I thought it was maybe just like a little rocky hill or something, but now I'm thinking maybe it's bushy. So I'll have to be more cautious with that. We are already down a mortar half track. Yeah, I don't know where they're shooting from. I keep feeling like I can identify it, and I cannot. Uh-oh. Back up. Shawn Michaels, get out of there. Actually, you know what? Full speed ahead. I don't know if they're going after the infantry or the vehicle, but we're going to get out of there. Sounds like they're in the middle. But they shouldn't be, because there was neutral zone around where we spawned. We're going to move up there. And I kind of feel like Triple H is just going to go to defend. We did take some casualties. Looks like one right here. The Rock can't see them. What if we go through that little opening? Now that's 50 meters. Okay, so we're 4.5 meters lower, but they must be walking on just the other side of the crest or something, so they're not silhouetted to us. I'm going to pull up right there, make sure that that's covered. And it sounds like they're right here. Like, I don't know if they're here or even west of here in that little green patch. I don't want to waste my mortars yet on not having any clue, but they're definitely left of that. Now it sounds like they're right of that. So to me, it sounds like they're right by the pond. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and move up with Hulk Hogan, and we'll see if we draw any rifle fire. They have illuminated me, so they know where we are. Their scouts on the top of the hill can probably see us pretty good. Ooh. What are you shooting at? Ric Flair sees something. There's a red dot somewhere. Okay, so right here must be what they were shooting at. We're just going to back up and get out of there. Shawn Michaels, let's point you the right way. And that was not far enough, I guess. So maybe right there. Mortars still falling. I am just going to keep Bret Hart over on the road, and as we move up, they're just going to run parallel to the tree line there. Infantry on the move. So we're just going to work in tandem, half track and infantry. And I think in an ideal world, I would like to move Steve Austin up as well soon. John Cena's almost there, so it seems like maybe not a lot on the west, maybe more action over here on the east. Okay, maybe they are going after the Rock, and that was a miss. So we'll just keep that in mind and maybe get ready to move. We just can't go too far because of that right there. Open up, BAR squad. No line of sight here. Mortars out. We just got hit by a mortar on the AT car with Ric Flair. So now it's just kind of a game of moving these guys around. I'm just going to get Shawn Michaels out of here, and they can come over and support this fight at the hill, because it does seem like there's a decent amount going on. Now, John Cena, you're a tiny bit winded. I think they can make that walk, and then they'll settle up in that building for a minute. The Rock, we're going to back you up. Anything we can do to expend their mortars, I'm okay with, as long as it's not entirely reckless and I just sit still. But like that right there, those are good shots. We just let them take those weird shots. We move the vehicles out of the way, and then, you know, when it's all said and done, they won't be able to do anything about it. I don't know. I would imagine they've got a similar amount of ammo as Gateway to Khan, Okay, we got a surrendery here. So the Undertaker's going to take this trench, and then Steve Austin is coming up behind as well. Now I would like to move down here, and then Bret Hart can kind of keep that flank clear for the vehicles, and we'll just let those mortars work on those guys. Steve Austin took one. Actually, maybe two. No, I guess the other one was technically first earlier before we moved. The Rock, though, can support the infantry on the east, and the infantry on the east can support the Rock and scout for them. So hopefully no major surprises there. I wouldn't mind moving Ric Flair out here. I'm just like, do I get stuck in that? I don't know. So we're going to try it. If it's a huge mistake, at least I'll know. But I do need to get out of there somehow. And Randy Orton is engaging. We're just never going to be able to use Roman Reigns now because they're kind of pointing northwest, and I don't know that we need any mortars to the northwest. I don't know if those are... Yeah, that's actually a good hit. I was going to say, I don't know if those are going to land on them with them crawling away, but that worked perfect.
Keep your heads down.
You know, I'm only a little bit into this, but I gotta say, like, I do like it. However, the change from here into Gateway to Con is kind of remarkable. Like, the graphic fidelity is better. The sounds are... Some of the sounds are the same, and that's fine. Some of the sounds in Gateway to Con were better. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, there was a lot to nitpick about Gateway to Con, but it was great when it was all said and done. I really enjoyed it. Alright, Hulk Hogan's almost there. It sounds like they're being shot at. I can't place it, but it totally sounds like there's gunfire right near them. Do we mortar them? I don't know. Might just be one guy. Alright, let's see if John Cena can get rested before moving on. And let's go ahead and move out with Triple H. Alright, Steve Austin hit these guys right here. They're making another push on us. I actually didn't think they would. Alright, they're mortaring us again. Why? What is going on with Shawn Michaels? They are struggling mightily. Alright, let's back up. I don't know, can we back up just a tiny bit? And let's try that again. Let's see. Steve Austin's just gonna have to stay put for a minute. Okay. Okay, Platoon HQ right there. Let's hit that. And the Rock still can't see anything. I don't want to get too close, but I feel like they could help. Let's get the infantry moved down with Bret Hart. And then if the Undertaker can take one of these trenches further down the hill, we'll probably be able to see with them as well. And now Shawn Michaels is just going the scenic way, so we're going to try and cut through that gap in the trees. Alright, Hulk Hogan is arriving. I think Randy Savage has been sitting back long enough, so let's get them... I don't know, let's move up here, and then we'll take this back position. And Triple H is still working okay. Nobody seems to be bothering them. So my plan is we'll have a few teams on the west, and then we can start pushing south. Ric Flair made it across fine, so let's pull through the trees, and we'll have a vehicle... Let's actually just go up here. We'll have a vehicle to support the infantry on the west. We just have to be cautious that the AT gun can't see them. Alright, light these boys up. And the Rock, you're going to move forward just a little bit, see if it helps. Steve Austin can still see. Now the Undertaker can see. There we go. Oh, yeah. Very good. So there's a little bit more to go because there's a slight incline still. Now I think the Rock has clear line of sight. Shawn Michaels made it through. We're just going to steam ahead right there. And then up here, John Cena is mostly rested. There's one winded. I don't know that we're going to wait for Triple H. I think we'll just let Triple H keep moving in. In fact, actually, no, Hulk Hogan's totally winded. We'll let them stay put. John Cena can move up. In a moment, Hulk Hogan can follow suit. Let's see. What about Randy Orton? We could maybe drop some mortars on these guys again. Whatever terrain feature that is, it actually provides decent cover. All is going well. Now see, it's really tempting to just mob down there with the two vehicles and gun everybody down, but we know how that turns out. So, unfortunately, we're stuck progressing slower than I would like, but as you can tell by the morale bar, we're working it. Fire aborted, can't see. We're going to move the Rock up just a little bit, see if it makes a difference. I don't know if it's the trees or the cover that they have, but it says they should hit them and won't allow them to. So, like, that's clear. No, still can't actually shoot that. So, yeah, it might not work. So, we'll just put them on defend, and if they see something, they can hit it. Alright, Macho Man Randy Savage is still working it. I think we'll just sit tight with Steve Austin for a minute. I want to move them, but until we gun those guys down, we need to just sit tight. Bret Hart's going to keep moving towards the flag. And I actually wonder, do we move the Rock over here? Not all the way out there yet until we know that there's not a gun looking down that road. But let's get them ready to support Bret Hart. And what else we got going on? More mortars. Roman Reigns can't hit that. It sucks, like it's just totally useless with that angle that they got stuck on. Oh, though. Randy Orton just coming in with the perfect landing. He's dropping an elbow and taking him out. Alright, Hulk Hogan is half rested. Another minute would be good, but I kind of feel like we just move them up here, and then we've got two teams together. You know what? Let's actually stop short with Bret Hart, make sure that they're all together, and then we're going to sprint across the road. I don't know if there's anybody actually still left there, but I'm a little reluctant to move out there. We could peek out right here and see if we get shot at. Seems like we're getting shot from deeper, because we were still being shot at, I think. I don't know who it was. Maybe it wasn't. Let's move it down here. Start closing some distance. We are halfway through the battle, so kind of want to put a little bit more pressure on. I'm not going to lie. I don't remember if I turned the morale condition on or off. I went both ways on it. And I was going to just leave it off because on the offensive, I like to be able to fight through it. And then I thought it might buy them a little bit more time for reinforcements and give a little bit more struggle if it was on. I don't know where I settled, but I feel like halfway through their morale already. So I'm going to lean towards I turned it off. I definitely want it on when we are playing defensive, because otherwise, when I'm getting slaughtered, I'm not going to have a way out. Looks like Randy Orton is being shot at. I don't know where from. There's guys crawling there on the southwest corner of that, but they're obviously not the ones shooting. So, I mean, maybe there's a guy that was holding still and he's shooting. Let's hit mortars there anyway. And then I'm going to use Shawn Michaels to put some suppressive fire there. I don't know if we'll get a better angle than that, so we'll just put some rounds down range. We got a runner. Maybe that's... I mean, we're still being shot at, and that guy's running, so it's not him. All right. Bret Hart has good line of sight, so they're opening up. It is mayhem. We got a casualty over there now. Let's... I don't know. Do we... Not the mortars. We don't want to move the mortars. They'll recount. Ah, not the mortars. Hold on. Shawn Michaels. Let's try and move this. I don't know. Maybe right down here. And then can we make this run into the two-story building that'll have better lines? I think we also send the Undertaker up there and kind of consolidate forces. I don't know. What looks like maybe there was something coming from right here. All right, let's move these guys both down here. I know they're going to get a little tired, but we got to close some distance. And let's move Randy Orton back because they are just drawing fire from an unknown location, and sooner or later they're going to actually get hit. This is driving me crazy. We got another guy crawling up to the front. Oh, never mind. All right, the Rock can move up. Now, if we were to try and cross this field right now, we don't have a lot of cover, so we need to make sure it's actually clear. I think Steve Austin can move up to this tree, and then they might even be able to move down along that wall or ridge or, whatever it is. Let's go, I don't know, rally up down there. We'll have all three teams together, and we're going to push into that next flag. Oh, I panicked when I saw that it said immobilized, but it's not red. They're just struggling. Kind of mired in the river crossing there. All right, Randy Savage is coming up. Steve Austin, you are probably going to go west and down here. And then I think let's turn Ric Flair out. They've been inactive this whole time, but let's go ahead and peek down there, and we'll just watch for AT fire. What's this? Infantry. Maybe mortars? I think Randy Orton has made it to their safe spot, so we'll just open up. Looks like, I didn't realize this until just now, but I think the mortar time is actually quicker. It's 10 seconds instead of 20. So I don't know if that's true for the whole game or if there's like a certain condition right now, but I like that. 20 seconds is a long time. I'm okay with it not being instant, but it can't be like they move 50 meters and I don't have a chance to stop them. Never mind. Okay, so turns out the morale condition is on, and they're at 31% to our 100%. I actually thought that they would give in at 50, so that's not the situation. And Axis captured 3 additional victory locations. It was a major Axis victory. We still won because we control the majority of the locations, so solid. We did kill 15, we wounded 19, and took 2 prisoners. They killed 1 and wounded 3. So, awesome position to start the campaign off. And I think I've got a pretty good handle on it. Only unfortunate thing, we do have those 3 flags in the middle of the map, but they still have all the terrain kind of cutting us off. So that's a little bizarre. All right, so Randy Savage has no kills. And Steve Austin has, that's hard to see, 4 kills. Bret Hart has 1 kill. The Undertaker has 4 kills. Hulk Hogan has no kills. Same with John Cena. And then we got Triple H, also no kills. And let's see, Ric Flair, no kills. And then we've got Shawn Michaels, 2 kills. And then we've got Randy Orton with 13 kills. Unfortunately, Roman Reigns was stuck, no kills. And we've got The Rock with 10 kills. Way to go. So, first platoon leader wiped out, no kills. And then this should be a rifle and basically wiped out with nothing. And a BAR with nothing. And then a rifle wiped out. And a BAR that's unharmed. And then a rifle that's unharmed. And a BAR that's wiped out, but they have 1 kill. A rifle that's wiped out. A BAR that's wiped out. And then a light mortar with 2 kills. And a light mortar with 1 kill. And then we never found their 57mm, so no activity there. So that's going to open up Panthers in the Fog. We've concluded the first battle. It was, generally speaking, a win. It wasn't like a clean victory all the way through and taking the map and all that, but it was a good performance, made progress, took low casualties. I feel like it was off to a good start. I also kind of like that it's starting at night, and that just seems kind of, it's different, it's exciting, I like it. So we'll see what happens as the day progresses. I hope everyone's excited about this one. I am, so join along. Make sure you click the subscribe button to tune into the next episode. If you enjoyed the content, like the video, and don't hesitate to drop a comment down below. I am taking names, so go ahead and drop those as well if you'd like to join a battle group or a specific unit. And then feel free to use names you've used in the past as well. Lastly, you can also help support me as a content creator by becoming a member. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.